Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Over the last few weeks, we have all suffered some strained sports references. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not going to disappoint you. I'm going to keep that trend going. When this deal was given to us and came to the council, it was not on the 1 yard line. I don't even think it was in the red zone. It needed a lot of work. Whether it was diehard Commanders fans that would stop me in the grocery store or people that shared my skepticism about a stadium in the first place, they all universally said the deal that was sent to us wasn't good enough, and they were counting on the council to make it better and to make it more fair. So while I shared my skepticism frequently, I also shared how I believe this deal had to change and how it had to get better. I don't think it's an understatement that this is one of the more consequential votes this body will make. So my vote has hinged on major and significant changes. And I appreciate working with all of my colleagues, with the Commander's leadership, with the mayor's team, and in particular the residents of DC to outline where and how this had to change. So let me spend a moment going through that. I said at the outset we had to invest in Metro and not parking garages. This was one of the biggest faults I saw in the proposal that was put in front of us to build 8,000 parking spots and not put a dime into expanding Metro. Rarely do we have an opportunity to build the equivalent of a small city, but building for the future isn't focused on parking lots. It's not a debate that we have to expand and upgrade our Metro system there. It's just a question of how. I pushed hard on this, and we've made changes. The proposal in front of us now has a transit fund where excess RFK campus infrastructure funds up to $20 million annually are going to go into this fund to be used specifically to support public transit-related improvements for the RFK campus, including Metro Rail and Metro Bus. We've also eliminated one of the garages of about 2,000 spots, and the team is working to reorient the parking garages that will be built. When I look at how this is going to build for the future, I've heard a lot of people talk about how this is a once-in-a-generation opportunity for the team. Well, it is a once-in-a-generation opportunity for how we build and design the stadium and the accompanying parcels of land. And the consequences of that decision are going to last for many generations, and they will outlast every single person on this dais and every single person in this room. What's in front of us had several provisions that I insisted had to be included. The design, construction, and maintenance to a LEED Platinum version 5 standard. It's the most stringent set of green building requirements that came out this year. It's going to help us achieve our net zero and decarbonization goals. I want to thank the team for their commitment to design, build, and maintain to both LEED BDC and OM Platinum certifications. We're going to be proud to say that DC and the Commanders will be national leaders on the environment and help set the pace for everybody else. Further, I've added protections now for the Anacostia River and stormwater and environmental standards to safeguard waivers and exemptions from DC law. It's one of the main reasons this site was selected in the first place, on the shores of the river and adjacent to Kingman Island. This is crucial to meet our goals and standards to be a leader. Working families and labor peace. How many times have we heard people cite the number of jobs that could be created here? One of the things that I needed to see were PLAs and labor peace agreements. This was a bright line for many of us, and I've seen firsthand how we use this in major projects to protect high-quality, well-paid jobs with rights. Getting those agreements was crucial to me, and it had to get done. I appreciate the team and our labor leaders for working tirelessly over the last few days to land that commitment. We just had a long conversation around how we deliver on our housing promises. I do believe this is a space where we have to work between first and second reading. But this, if we are giving the land at this level of subsidy, I need to make sure that we see a deal that the developer couldn't come back for even more housing subsidies to help build that housing. That looks like double dipping to me. This proposal we now have in front of us helps make sure that won't happen. And if the development misses the completion dates, we're speeding up that timeline. And again, I think we can do more in that. And on the finances, while the district taxpayer is on the hook for a very large subsidy, we needed to see a greater return. The changes that were made and what's in front of us now will bring back hundreds of millions of dollars more to the district to help make sure that we can pay for the things that we've got to do to deliver for our city. And lastly, with my Ward 6 Councilmember hat on, this site has a very great relationship between Ward 7 and Ward 6. The site itself used to be in Ward 6, so I have a lot of familiarity around it. Parts of this area, as you go around Congressional Cemetery and the access road along the river, is Ward 6. So while this is predominantly a Ward 7 project, Ward 6 is only a couple of blocks away and in fact is included. The fact that Ward 6 small businesses are now named in the prioritization goals for our CBEs is a big win for our Ward 6 small businesses, and I'm glad to see that in there. Protecting our nearby neighborhoods from traffic and parking, including on Sundays, which happens to be when we play games, is really important. The initial plan had 4,500 cars per hour being driven through the neighborhood. I appreciate that the commanders are working on making changes to that, but DDOT has a responsibility. And the model that we put in, I appreciate working with Councilor Felder on this, is the same model we've used around the ballpark and Audi Field to protect neighbors with the traffic and with the parking to make sure it can be enforced. The community benefits project and the fund, Ward 6 will have a seat on that to make sure that Ward 6 voices are represented. Again, Ward 6 is just 6 blocks away from where the stadium is. And of course, as I talked about earlier, the fields, something I worked really hard to help create in the first place, has to be protected through construction. And after mobilizing thousands of neighbors and families to speak up on this, I appreciate the commanders making a commitment and making the plans to ensure the fields will be open and accessible throughout construction and making sure that's written into the deal. Those are important milestones, important pieces. It was why I pushed so hard. With all of that in here, and with the work I know that'll happen between first and second reading, I'm a yes vote today. But that is because we worked hard to get these into the agreement to make sure we have these protections and make sure this is a big deal for our city. Thank you, Mr. Chair.